I recently did this painting, and you could say it's a drawing, an illustration. And this illustration was a way that I found in that specific moment to really put out here a turmoil of emotions that I was feeling. I accidentally found the best way to express them. And it was fun because I felt at that moment I was going through a lot of pain, a lot of change. My best friend had just moved to London. Well, it wasn't specifically at that moment, but I was feeling a lot of tough emotions. And I was feeling like maybe a really big support in my life probably had just disappeared. So change is difficult for me. And imagining how things can go in a positive way can be very challenging for me sometimes. And I don't know, there was a lot of confusion going on inside of me, and like anger and sadness, and maybe a feeling of feeling betrayed also, and I didn't know what to do with that. I felt like just getting more and more depressed in a way. I just felt like I was just sitting on my couch or lying in my couch, sometimes lying in my bed, and I couldn't really move a lot. That I couldn't really do the things that I felt that I was supposed to be doing. What were even the things that I was supposed to be doing? I don't know, I just felt like that moment just was such a big and a strong punch in my gut that made me question what was the point of my own life. And not in the sense of, I realized in that moment that a lot of my core values had changed, and a lot of the things that I wanted to achieve with my life, the goals had changed also, and I didn't even notice. So I found myself in that very challenging place, feeling alone in a way, but also feeling alone because I realized I really didn't know the new version of me. And we can even argue, did I even knew the older version of me? But maybe we're getting too philosophical with this. And so there was a lot of things that I didn't know how to express, how to even put out there. What was I even feeling? And so I just grabbed my iPad, which is my newest form of the way that I've been preferring how to express my feelings lately. I just put this on a pencil brush, and I just started sketching whatever was in my mind. I just wanted to do like something brutal, just in something to express the pain that I was feeling. And maybe we'll find this illustration isn't that brutal at all, but I wanted to make it way harsher than the things that I usually do. And I was able to do it, like a body that is splitting in half, a huge trunk that is coming out of it, and with harsh lines. It feels harsh, it feels like a rock, it feels dry, it feels lifeless, it feels in the way. And that's what I wanted to put here. At the same time, I am crying, melting. My heart is wide open, like a hole. There's no heart there. There's a heart-shaped hole. Maybe in a very cliche way. But my heart isn't there to be found. I don't know where it is. And I just feel like while I am rotting away, my shadows are starting to come out and get me. And this is the main feeling behind of this illustration. As everything, the world continues to spin, the universe continues to spin, and here I am just melting away, rotting away, and just waiting perhaps that my shadows will get me. But then there is a glimmer, a very tiny glimmer of hope, and this is something that I've found so interesting as I was expressing all of these rough feelings with this rough pencil sketch to start. that my hand started placing that little seed of hope that was already a sprout, even. That maybe I didn't even realize that it was there already. And it's funny that I'm just like expressing this without filters, and tears are just coming to my eyes. I'm getting a bit emotional, I guess. Because I feel like there was like a memory that was somewhat imprinted in me, and I didn't even realize. A couple of months ago, as I was going through my normal walk, I found a trunk, just that a trunk that had fallen, a tree had fallen. And there was this trunk there. People have come in and cut the bigger branches, but the main part of the trunk was there. There were some still small branches there, but not a lot. And it was winter. There were strong winds and the trunk had fallen. And it's just a random trunk, but maybe a week later or something, people had put a sign there. I guess the people that were the gardeners that were taking care of the park. They put a sign there saying, "We haven't forgotten about this trunk, and this isn't garbage. This is here because it's part of this ecosystem, and this will become the house for many insects and for many plant species, whatever, from that ecosystem to start being born from there, from that place." And I didn't think too much about it. Just thought, I don't know, I just read it and I continued with my day. But truth is, I guess as weeks started passing by, I really started to see some sprouts coming out of that trunk. It wasn't only one. There were like a couple of them just sprouting at the same time. And I guess a lot of animals were already inside the trunk, probably, most likely. And months started passing by. And the trunk, maybe people that don't know about the fallen trunk now pass that place, and maybe they even mistaken as a huge bush. Because you can't really see it. It's so filled of new life that you don't even recognize that its older past life was a tree, a trunk. That it's not even the same form as it is now. So from this dead vessel came now this new form of life that it's so different from what it once was. And I don't know, I just think a lot about life. I think a lot about cycles, and I guess this is something that ages is presenting me lately in these later years. Not saying that I'm old in any ways, but I'm not the youngest also already. And I've been thinking about life a lot in death. Also seeing, because as you grow older, there's a lot of family members and friends that just start dying. And sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes you even found yourself in situations that you were almost in that same place. And it just makes you think. Seeing people that you love just change and getting older. And you start thinking, am I really making the most of my life and of these people? Of my family around me, of my friends. And here I am getting emotional again, I guess. This video is surprising for me too. I mean, I'm just going with it. But I wanted to express this out here because it complements these drawings and these series that I've been making. They are an expression of my being, and this is a part of me that is here, and I want to know it. And so yeah, I've been thinking a lot about life and death and cycles. And how things change, and things seem scary, and sometimes they really do change with a big bang. Maybe how the universe was formed also. And then you find yourself having the things that probably you always wished and you didn't even know. But in ways that your ego says, this is not the way it's supposed to be. This is not the picture of the dream life that I had in my mind. What is this? Am I happy or am I sad? Why am I lonely but with so many beautiful people around me suddenly? What is this revealing about me even? What am I in the middle of all of this? And I'm just this is not actually sadness. I'm just like emotional because it's sad and beautiful at the same time, and it's just so representing of life. I think a lot about life. and and how death is also, it can also be like a beautiful part of life. Transformation and things changing can also be such a beautiful part of life. I guess I realize I'm just like a really sensitive person. And maybe that's an important part of being an artist. And I don't know, I just really wanted to be authentic, even with myself. And because when I go deeper into these places and I just like improvise, like what I'm doing now, I guess I just know myself a bit better. And I think that's really cool because with all of this transformation, that is good. I also realized that there's this new form of me that was born from this trunk that I don't know that well yet. But it's beautiful to see. And it's not like I don't honor what it was. It's not like this harsh trunk wasn't filled of life before. And it was really beautiful. And it was really special. But now it's being born again. And it's beautiful and soft, like a little sprout that it's brimming with life. So this cycle of beginning and ending, I really think a lot about it. And yeah, this just stopping and drawing whatever was in my heart in that moment. It became a huge window to my heart. And I found myself on the weeks after just stopping and drawing whatever emotion I was feeling, whatever way, the rawest way I had to express it in 10 or 15 minutes or less, and then only taking the time to tweak it a bit more, making it a bit more finalized. But that has become one of my favorite ways of expressing my emotions on these, I guess, last month or two. And this is, I guess, a very raw way to introduce this series that I've been making. This was literally the first one of them. I've done probably 5 or 6, but I only posted 3 because the other were still feeling very raw to post. I don't know if I will post them, but who knows? Time will tell. But yeah, I guess this is the story of how I accidentally found a really good way to express myself. And now I'm sharing this with you in a very raw, authentic way, in the way that I usually also draw these drawings. Because, I really have a lot of fun exploring that. And even having been having fun exploring and going deep into into rough emotions and being peaceful in the center of those. I'm finding a lot of resilience. And it's interesting. I will talk a bit more about the other illustrations that I did for my series. It's something that I want to do and that I want to document. If that's something that you're also interested after all of this, please do say something in the comments. I'm realizing again, like I said in one of my previous videos, that community is something that I'm really discovering that is one of the bigger things that I want to build in my life. I mean, physically and virtually, like all forms and expressions of community and being with people. Because again, also life has been teaching me that that's one of the biggest things that I cherish, and I really want to use my life to build more of that and to be able to experience all of those good and bad moments with the people that I have and cherish. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.